shot on the buzzer.
This is what we live for.
Wilkins chased by Morcell.
We're live from the Morningside Arena in Leicester for today's second playoff semi-final, and what an exciting matchup it promises to be. A repeat of the BBL Trophy final between the London Lions and the Plymouth Raiders. BBL legends Kieran Achara and Ant Rowe still alongside me, and after the game we've just seen, these guys have got a hard act to follow, don't they?
They do indeed that, and what a cracking finish we saw as well. First quarter we thought, okay, this could be a little bit one-sided, but an incredible fight back from the Newcastle Eagles, and I think it will just spur these two teams on now.
This is an all-star London roster. We've been talking about it all season long. A team built to win everything. They've won 14 on the bounce, but the Raiders, they're in equally strong form in 2021. So this one's really keenly poised, Kieran.
I'm really excited about it. You know, it's really hard to top of the last game, but this is the two physical teams that can go at it. It's going to be an exciting one, definitely.
The Raiders have won 18 of their last 20 in all competitions. That is the best form in the BBL in 2021. It didn't start like that, Ant. So what changed?
I think team chemistry, came into form, and I think Coach PJ as well, Paul James, he's someone who's been there and done that as a player and as a coach, and when he's been able to get in there and implement his structure, it's paid dividends for this team, and they were winning games as well now, with injuries, which is even more so impressive.
Right, well, let's have a look at the head-to-head, because they played each other 5 times this season, and London 4-1 up in the series. They've had much the better of things, although it's worth pointing out, Kieran, most of the games, with the exception of that 17-point blowout, they've been pretty tight.
They have been tight games, and like I said, Plymouth wear teams down. They're really strong physically. So the depth of London have just been able to have that knock-on effect and kind of get the job done.
Out of those 4 wins, the most important for London was, of course, the trophy victory back in March, and it was a hugely significant win for a team who'd had their season derailed by COVID. Because this, as we said, was a team that was built to win everything. COVID affected the cup final, took them out of Europe, so this was crucial.
It was, and I think this is one of those wins that they had that matched the expectation. Everything else has felt a little bit below par, but this is that true statement that this is a championship caliber team.
And that, you have to remember, Ashley Hamilton, the key piece of that, would just come back from injury. He wasn't 100% against the London Lions, so I think it'll be a lot more evenly matched even tonight.
How big is a psychological advantage is that win going to be, given what's at stake tonight?
I think that London are very even-keeled in that. They had big expectations. They're expecting to win everything. While Plymouth are maybe thinking to herself, you know what, if Ashley was a little bit healthier, we know what we can get this job done. So I think from a confidence perspective, Plymouth are in that mindset that they can get this job done tonight.
Do you think they're going to be looking at it, Plymouth, thinking we've got nothing to lose here, because the Lions are maybe not necessarily fairly given the form Plymouth are in, but they're the favourites in this tie, aren't they?
Yeah, Plymouth Raiders are definitely the underdogs in this, and you've got individuals as well on this Plymouth Raiders team that didn't step up in that final. If you remember, Ricky McGill had a great game like he has done for the past 20 games, and he got support from Will Nainbeer, but other than that, no one really showed up offensively for them. So you've got a lot of players here, Mike Morcell, Ashley Hamilton himself will want to have big games to prove themselves and right some of the wrongs.
Well, the Lions and the Raiders have been arriving for the second semi-final of the day a couple of hours back. Remember, this is the first leg. The two play again on Thursday to decide who goes forward to a place in Sunday's final. There is so much at stake then, and we caught up with two of British basketball's very best to be squaring off on this court tonight. Justin Robinson and Ashley Hamilton.
Justin, we're here at the semi-finals. How does it feel to be here?
I mean, it's always a blessing to come this far. We played a tough Cheshire team. I thought they gave us a run for our money in the first game. We came out second game, tried to take care of business. And we got a tough game coming up, We know this Plymouth team is physical, they're experienced, so, we're just blessed to be here, man.
Ash, you're here at the semi-finals. How does it feel?
To be here at the semi-finals, it's a big achievement throughout the season. It's what everyone plays for, to get good placement in the playoffs. So I think we have an opportunity to do something special for the club.
Do you think you guys can take this all the way?
Yeah, I think right now we're very confident. We're playing well. We're on a winning streak, and we're just trying to keep this momentum going into the finals. Hopefully we can get there. We ain't trying to jump the gun or underestimate anyone. So, I think we can go all the way.
What would it mean to go all the way to the final?
To go all the way to the final, again, another achievement, another milestone. We're knocking off on the way to our ultimate goal, and it's just big time for us, big time for the club.
And it's great to see both of those players having such terrific seasons, because it's great for British basketball, for Team GB, isn't it?
It is indeed. You know, the future's very, very bright. We've got a lot more British or GB caliber players in the league now. Now we've lost one in Kieran Achara, of course. It's good to have a new wave coming through.
Well, Kieran, you know, with your time in Team GB, your time in the BBL, you know both of those players very well. Talk us through their respective approaches to the game, the similarities in their mindset, their differences.
I think both of them are extremely humble. You know, even you could see in their interviews there, they're not kind of getting too confident and too this, too that. They go about their business very silently, but at the same time, they are fierce competitors. They both love to win. And I think that shows when they carry on to their team as leaders, that fierceness and that competitiveness.
We've had both of them, of course, as part of our broadcast team this season. They're very different off the court to how they are on the court. With the Lions and the ambition, if they are able to go on and capitalise on this format and win the playoffs, 2 trophies out of a possible 4, will they look back, given the complications of the season, and look at this year as a success?
I think so. I think there's always going to be an asterisk on the BBL Cup final just because of the COVID restrictions and the implications they had there. But I think I'd propose it this way. If they don't win this BBL playoffs, I think it would be an underachievement. That's the way I think the London Lions camp see this, and everyone around British basketball and the perceptions going into this league campaign.
Well, 2 of the most experienced coaches in the game are in action tonight. Vince McCauley and Paul James. PJ, of course, celebrating his 1000th game coaching. And, of course, these guys go way back as players, let alone as coaches. That's PJ on the left, Vince on the right, number 15. 2 of the best loved characters in the game, aren't they, Kieran?
They definitely are. I'm looking at Vince right now. They've got the exact same hair too, Vince. So I'm super impressed.
He hasn't aged a day, I think is what you're saying. He's courtside now with Mike Tuck.
Vince, you're here in the semi-final. Let's have a quick word on PJ while they just pulled up that photo.
You know, I love PJ. When we first met each other, I think, what is that? Like, my maths is terrible. It's something like 45 years ago or something. Who knew we'd be here standing in a playoff semi-final? But we've battled each other for so many years, played against each other in finals. You know, he's a great guy. I love the way he is.
Definitely, and this is a rematch of the trophy final. How does it feel against going up against this kind of gritty and tough Plymouth Raiders team?
Well, you know, the top 4 teams were always going to be the top 4 teams, and you knew that whatever you did, you had to go through Leicester, Newcastle, in particular Plymouth. Plymouth have great ambitions as well. They've got some terrific players. PJ knows what he's doing. Terrific blend of British players. I think that's the key point. I heard your conversation earlier around the GB players and Kieran, and I think that's how you build a team for the BBL, especially if we have teams that want to go beyond competing in the BBL and challenge the best of Europe.
And where do you think this game is going to be won and lost tonight?
I'm not sure it's going to be won and lost tonight. I think this is an 8-quarter battle. PJ knows that very much so. Actually, Hamilton, experienced players, they know that. Ricky McGill will have a lot to say, and we have some tools in our cupboard as well. I think this is going to be a very physical encounter. You know, can we cope with their physicality? Can they cope with our speed? And I think that may be the decider in the end.
And you're coming off 14 wins. Do you guys feel like you're in rhythm right now?
Yeah, I mean, the key for us was always to be playing our best basketball towards the end of the season. There's a lot of things that everybody has had to cope with. Obviously, us as a team, you know, through this pandemic, but every team that's been able to complete the season, and congratulations to all of them and their volunteers and people behind the scenes, because this hasn't been easy. But when you get down to this situation where there's 3 games to win a title, I think my guys are as motivated as they can be.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's no surprise to hear they're motivated, Kieran. 14 wins on the bounce. What's been the key to that form? We talked about Plymouth having a different start to the season compared to where they are now. What about the Lions? What changes have you seen with them?
Just been shooting the ball ridiculously well. You know, they're moving the ball. The team are starting to understand each other. They're locked in defensively, but they're shooting the ball at an unbelievable rate.
In terms of Vince McCauley's season, given the complexity of the role, right? Because it's a great problem to have when you've got such a deep roster and so much talent, but it's a challenge as well to feed those mouths, to keep everybody happy. What have you made of his season?
I think that's where the good form came in as well. Now, I think people were becoming more comfortable or accepting of their role as well. Whether they liked it or not, they knew who the guys were to go to in late game situations. And you see the confidence of someone like Derek Williams as well, who perhaps at the beginning of the season didn't quite know, am I the man? Am I the guy who's going to hit the shots? The answer is yes. And as a result, the team have been winning games. Well,
Vince McCauley's and the Lions have had an impressive season so far, as indeed have the Plymouth Raiders, and PJ, one of the most experienced in the game. He's courtside now with Mike.
PJ, you didn't see it, but we just had a picture of you and Vince up from about 30 or 40 years ago. Can you just comment on the battles that you guys have had over the years?
Oh, there's been way too many. And I've won a few, he's won a few, so here we go again today.
Yeah, now we shift to this game, and it's a rematch of the trophy final where they took home the trophy honors. Is that going to play into the guys' mindsets today?
Not at all. We know we didn't give the best version of ourselves on the day. In the first half, we really didn't show up, and certainly today, we know we have to get off to a quick start. We can't allow them to get a big lead and just be comfortable all evening. So, we need to do a better job on all counts.
Let's talk about the build-up to this game. In the quarterfinal, you faced Cheshire. What kind of things did you learn against that team?
Well, in Worcester we played in the quarterfinal, and so. We had 2 bad starts in that game, and that's something we're really trying to eradicate right now. We know that we have to come out, we have to be defensively, we have to be on point, especially against a very good London team. And we haven't got time to work our way into the game. We've got to do it right from the beginning.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the key players on both sides, and we'll start with the Lions, and we'll start with DeAndre Liggins, the ex-Cleveland Cavalier, who played with LeBron James, and there was so much excitement, so much hype about his entry into the BBL, and it's his intensity, Kieran. We've seen it firsthand a number of times this season. His intensity at both ends of the court seems to really lift the players around him.
Yeah, that's it. He's been such a joy to watch, even for me. I've really kind of studied him as a player. He is an elite defender, and like I talked about, he takes it personal defensively. When he chooses to take over, he can guard any position, and I think that's been a real game changer, his versatility, especially defensively.
Reads the game so well, doesn't he? Dirk Williams, we talked about the brilliant scoring that the Lions have been displaying across the board over the last couple of months. He's second in scoring in the BBL. Underlines the season that he's having, and when amongst all of this talent on this Lions roster, his name keeps coming up and up.
It's really good to see, because the majority of his development of his professional basketball career has been in the British Basketball League. When he came to Sheffield Sharks, he was a very good basketball player, exciting, athletic, but he was not a BBL All-Star. Now he's an MVP candidate, and he's done that through the British Basketball League, and he's a legitimate MVP contender.
What's changed?
I think maybe mindset, but he's better. He's a better shooter now as well. He can always shoot the ball, but he shoots that ball with such efficiency now as well. And I think that killer mentality, I think, that rookie year, you've been in the BBL, you're happy to be here. Now he wants to win, and you can just tell he's not afraid to make big plays and big shots.
Justin Robinson, a player that we heard from a little bit earlier on, a Team GB staple, of course, as well as the London Lions, and a player who leads by example. As we said, he's so relaxed, so understated off the court, but as intense as they come on the court.
Yeah, and you've seen that in the last matchup as well in the playoffs. He looked for his shot a lot more aggressively earlier in that game, and he set the tempo and set the tone. And again, like the great point guards we've already seen in Gino Crandall, Ramon Fletcher, he knows when to take a step back and then facilitate the basketball. But he's a very, very effective player and a formidable scorer. Some
formidable scorers on the Raiders side as well. Most notably, perhaps Ricky McGill, their floor general. And he's such an all-round contributor, isn't he, Kieran?
He is scoring in so many ways now. When he first came to the team, I was a little bit dubious, didn't know exactly what to expect from him, but he has really stepped up and taken over as a leader on this team.
We're seeing that with his stats there, contributing not just with scoring, with assists, with steals, across the court. And another standout player, Ashley Hamilton. As we said, great news for British basketball that he is in such a rich vein of form once again this season. And talk us through exactly what he brings to this Raiders side.
I love it when British players dominate the British league. It's obviously unbiased in that, being British myself, but Ashley Hamilton for me has been one of those guys who's had a really high-profile professional career. He's came back home and has been able to dominate. All but an injury really stopped his path from an MVP candidate himself, but he has been such a big force for this Plymouth Raiders team, and you can tell he's feeling himself and getting confident again now.
Yeah, he's been in that MVP conversation for much of the season, and rightly so. Now, one of the league leaders in points per game is Mike Morsell. He was brilliant in their trophy run. I mean, in the semi-finals, he racked up 63 points over the two legs. The Lions obviously can't afford to let him go on a similar run in this time.
A very versatile player, but he's aggressive. And the BBL love players who are athletic and aggressive. They're really, really hard to stop, and he just gets the job done.
He is a player that PJ will be looking at to step up tonight, because make no bones about it, the Raiders are in a fight here, because the London Lions in terrific form coming into this one. Get ready for showtime, because this is one of the most potent offenses in the BBL against one of the toughest defenses. So something has to give. Raiders Lions, tip off is next.
back to Liggins, but it's Liggins who jams it in. Oh, Hamilton strokes the dream.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the BBL playoffs, our second semi-final of the day, and it's the first leg of Raiders-Lions. So much on the line. Antro, you've been there, you've done it, you've won it. What will Vince McCauley and PJ be saying to their players respectively ahead of this game?
I think you just got to approach it any other game. This is obviously more at stake here, but you don't want to detach yourself away from what's got you here in the first place, if that makes sense. You want to keep your identity, understand what you need to do offensively and defensively collectively, but also know your scout report. I can't stress enough how important that is. And we saw Newcastle because in the first quarter they didn't stick to the scout report and they were in a big hole early. And I think Plymouth Raiders are a team that cannot afford to get themselves a big hole against this
early
Lions
on.
team.
It is interesting the form the Lions are in, and a lot of the time this season when we've heard Lions players being interviewed, they said every other team plays up against us. It's like the biggest game of the season anytime anyone squares off against us. And now some people have said there's a bit of arrogance about that approach, but that's going to put a lot of pressure and a weight of expectation on their shoulders, particularly on a night like tonight.
It's true. It is. Every team who plays London Lions, you look at their roster, the money they've spent, you're going at that. That is your championship game. So now you're actually in a chance to get to a final. It's magnified. It's taken it to another level.
So you think they'll be feeling that pressure? Because every player will tell you we don't feel it, we treat it like another game. But this Lions team, this season, this game, they're going to be feeling it.
I think they embrace that. I think they actually enjoy that. They love being seen as this team, as the team to beat, whatever. That's kind of motivated them. Vince has done a great job with that.
Let's take a look at the London roster. We talk about their form, a 14-game winning streak, and the trophy, Kieran, really seemed to galvanise them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they got that win. I think it was a lot of pressure was taken off them because they were, they were built to win. So getting that first win, now they just want more.
averaging 76 points in terms of points conceded in April compared to 82 in all outings outside of that. So their defense really stepping up. And speaking of defense, that is what this Plymouth Raiders team is all about. But how big a loss will Prince Ebay be for them?
Huge inside, in all honesty. You know, he was the best inside post player defensively in the whole league, so you take a massive piece of the puzzle out of the equation there. However, you've still got that natural structure of Plymouth Raiders and how they've won basketball games through their defense, but they're going to need a collective effort here, inside and outside. All
right, let's check back in with Mike. Mike, we've been talking about some of the comments that the London Lions players have made throughout the course of this season. One of the things DeAndre Liggins said was that the Lions at times have allowed teams to outwork them. What do you think he was referring to specifically there?
I think DeAndre Liggins comes from an NBA pedigree, and he expects a lot from these guys. And listen, we've been talking about it. You know, they've had a lot of investment in this team, and this team has high expectations. And I think that's what he expects. They expect greatness out of this team. So, you know, they are the big dog, and, you know, Plymouth right now are looking like the underdog. But it's going to be a great matchup. I think Plymouth really have to step up and play a perfect game. But it's going to be tough to stop that kid, Ricky McGill, man. He has been playing on fire lately.
What do you think that Plymouth need to concentrate on offensively to get some rhythm? It needs to run through McGill, but to exploit this London defense, or rather, how can they exploit this London defense?
I think you're going to need guys like Ashley Hamilton and Mike Morcell to really step up, because McGill has been doing a lot of it on his own lately, you know, scoring in the high 20s every night. But the Batman needs his Robin. He's going to need a couple other guys to step up and just stick with it. You know, we saw in the game before how Newcastle just chipped away at that lead and stuck with it. So no matter what happens, whether you're up or you're down, you just have to stick with it.
Thanks, Mike. We'll check back in with Mike in a little bit. Kieran, final thoughts. Which way are you leaning?
I'm going with London at this moment in time. I see Chris Porter-Bunton's now look like he's not playing tonight. They've got no eBay, no Ubiaro. It's a tough ask for Plymouth. I just don't think they have the depth.
If Plymouth are going to make this, and we've got to remember, this is, you know, a two-leg tie. As long as they're keeping it within single digits, then it's still very much game on. So if they are going to make this a close fight, what are the key battles they've got to win?
It's defensive battle. They want to grind this game down, and I think they're very capable of doing that from a team perspective. They can keep teams in the 60s and 70s. That's the kind of game they want to play tonight.
All right, let's hope we have a similar game to the first semi-final that we saw between Leicester and Newcastle. Two informed sides. There's no reason to think we'll see anything but another classic. Let's get over to our commentary team. Atro has hot-footed over, and he's alongside Dan Rowledge.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, two teams who finished the season incredibly well to claim, in Plymouth's case, their highest ever league position. In London's case, their club record win streak, which is still alive at 14 games coming into these playoffs. And, well, you've mentioned the fact that Chris Porter-Bunton not out there, and obviously having lost two players prior to that, they are a little bit thin on the ground. But this man who runs out first has the offensive firepower to do big things for this Plymouth Raiders team.
Yeah, Avicii Dusha has been great for this team, and you know he's going to be supported by Ashley Hamilton, who's Mr. Team GB, and he's, you know, his reputation his performance has by far, you know, exceeded his reputation. He's been huge for these guys.
And Beastie played tremendously well for them in the quarterfinals, and obviously Will Neighbour with the shooting off the bench that he brings. But you feel like it needs to be a perfect 80 minutes for the Raiders, whereas the Lions can be just off a bit here or there, but have the explosiveness to be able to put together 4 or 5 minutes where any team in the league can't live with it.
You've hit the nail on the head with that one, Dan. But what I will say with this Plymouth Raiders team, which has really surprised me, they are one of the most hottest teams in the BBL in terms of form, and they've done that via people being injured, people being out. They've lost their centre in Prince Ebay, they lost one of their other influential players in Rubiero, but yet again they've still found ways to win basketball games. So yes, they look depleted today, they're not as deep as per usual, but I wouldn't bet against them just because they've consistently won games without pieces of the puzzle.
Well, London are deep every day. It doesn't really matter. They always have 12 really good players to throw out there. And in some ways, that's been the challenge for the Vince this year as to which lineup he wants to play with.
Yeah, identity as a basketball player is a struggle. And I think even more so at the pro game, because you've got to remember, at the professional level, every individual where they came from has been a star or has been an expert at what they do. So you've all got a lot of egos to juggle with that as well. And Vince McCauley has done a superb job to get this team to unite together and get to this position where they're at now.
Well, Justin Robinson, as you would expect, giving the team talk and telling his team exactly what he expects. Here's the numbers comparisons. Dirk Williams, second in the league in scoring. And, well, look at Justin Robinson's three-point shooting percentage at 47%. They have so many weapons from behind the arc, but he remains the best of them.
It's incredible, and it's a guy who makes difficult shots. These aren't all open threes. These are coming off the pick and roll or contested. And Justin Robinson's got a pretty good reputation in this league, being former MVP. So incredible shooting from him.
Certainly has been. And let's have a look at the numbers as they compare in teams. You can see London scoring is the best in the league. Plymouth were just edged by Leicester in terms of points per game against, and therein is the challenge. If it gets to 90, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, it is offense against defense, isn't it? Plymouth Raiders have to somehow incorporate their tough defense here and try to stop and limit and frustrate the London Lions. I think the London Lions team that likes to score the ball clearly at 90 points a game, but I think the frustrations will come if those guys aren't getting their numbers.
Got to keep them off that three-point line. Well, we are almost ready for the first leg of the second semi-final here in Leicester. We will have London against Plymouth right after this. Welcome back to Leicester, where we have the second of our semi-final first legs, the London Lions and the Plymouth Raiders. These two teams only ever met once before in the playoffs, and well, I'm sure the Lions remember that because it was one of the great upsets, with the Lions as league champions knocked out by the 8th place Raiders a couple of years ago. Let's have a look at the starting lineups for tonight's games. No surprises, this has been their starting 5 for the end part of the season.
Yeah, the only one position there that's been chopping and changing is that centre position, isn't it? But Ali Hodges has put in some big performances there, and Okoro is actually knocking on the door there for that replacement centre. But no, Parker, as we know, can make big shots. Robinson, Williams, Liggins, pick your poison.
Well, let's take a look at the Plymouth Raiders lineup, where there is, well, not a change from the last game, but a change in general. Beastie started one game in league play. He started the last 2 games. He was tremendous in the first leg of the quarterfinal.
He was, and it was everything too. He was positively influenced his team on both ends of the floor, and it was a huge piece of the puzzle there in that matchup against Worcester, and I'm sure they'll want more from him going forward. And Hamilton and Ricky McGill is the all-star that just keeps on giving.
Well, those are the two that are going to have to do it. Obviously, Porter Bunton picked up, looked like a shoulder injury in that first leg, didn't play the second leg. And they could do with some offense from somewhere else to support Ricky McGill. Marcel usually provides, but they're going to need another guy somewhere along the line to add in, and they defensively are going to have to be at their best, because you've got to keep the score down against London. You can't, as we saw in the second leg of London's victory, allow them to get hot from that 3-point line.
Yeah, they have to keep this unmessy basketball.
Well, the players taking the knee ahead of tip-off tonight. Vince and the Lions have been doing a lot of good work in their local community around the issue of racism, and that will continue on long beyond the season. And well, the ball tipped on the way up, so it'll be a sideline possession. Beastie to inbound. All through the hands of Beastie, and a turnover on the first play for the Raiders.
Bit of a nervy start for the men in green.
Here's Parker, and he's won it right back there. Beastie, here's Marcel in transition. Robinson knocked it loose. Plymouth still have it, scrappy play. Hamilton falling over, almost another turnover.
It's got that playoff basketball feel, intensity and movement 100%, and the hands and the mind not quite there. But Beastie already making amends for the earlier turnover.
I'm sure that'll make him feel good, having lost the ball on the first possession. Here's Hamilton at the free throw line. Rising high is Liggins. Liggins. Well, you may notice as Liggins looks to attack, it is still behind closed doors. The Raiders bench is very loud and getting behind their team, as they have done all season.
They've been crowned the loudest bench in the league. I don't know by what measure, but I know it's that they've got to be up there because the energy is great from them, and I'm sure that pays an advantage to the Raiders.
McGill going through. If anybody's allowed to get Riders and Raiders mixed up, it's Amro.
Many apologies. This is a long old day for us, Dan. There's back-to-back games. I haven't quite built up your endurance. You've got a couple of decades on me. And I played for them both.
You did play for them both. Wore the shirts very well. McGill gets the first point on the board.
What a guy that's been wearing that jersey extremely well this year, Ricky McGill. Just when you think he can't do any more, and he does. And they'll need him to carry a heavy load of the offensive production in this 2-game leg.
Here's Robinson for London. Liggins looking to attack. Beast has done well there. Out to Williams. Flushed him off the three-point line. He had to rearrange that. Parker with the offensive rebound denied by Ocharobia.
Well, I thought I saw Prince there for a second there. Ocharobia came over and blocked the shot with authority.
There's McGill. Getting into the top of the key. Rims out. Rebound Liggins. Here's Williams. Williams blocked by Hamilton.
Well, the first step was so long for Williams, it took the spring out of that second, so he couldn't jump his elevators high, and actually Hamilton took full advantage of that.
McGill using the pick and roll to get Ocharobia. Hamilton now. Morcell. Steps back, long way for three, off the mark. Didn't hit the ring. Doesn't matter, it's out of bounds for a London ball.
Well, London Lions defense setting up very compact there. There's nothing really in the middle. A couple times there, the Plymouth Raiders have tried to penetrate in the middle, but nothing was there. And as you saw, Morcell elected to even dribble out and try and take a contested three-point shot there.
Here's Robinson, space for three, and half the time they go in, you cannot lose him.
No, you cannot, and that shots look so consistent, doesn't it?
There's McGill. That's good work from Ali Hodzic. McGill. Speed inside. Ocharobia off the great assist.
Great work there from Ricky McGill as the point guard, because Ali Hodges does a great job at both times there with that switch on the screen, but Ricky McGill was able to find Ocharobia with good position and a good finish inside.
Liggins creates some space for himself. Misses the three, but they're getting each other's way there, the Raiders. London get it back.
Well, it's frustrating for the Raiders, but it's a good sign. Both players looking to crash the boards. It just pops up conveniently in Ali Hodges' hand.
Oh, nice out of bounds, and Ali Hodzic with the big throwdown.
He's deserved that dunk. He's been playing good, intense defense so far in this game.
Hey, he lives a few miles away, Ali Hodzic, from here. We used to work out with him in the summers and the like when, before he came back to the UK.
He's a good guy, and he's got that naturally built presence as well on court. He's a big body, 6'9", 6'10", but the shoulders and the width and the strength to match.
So he's been excellent in the pick and roll as well. Good screen there to free up Robinson.
You see it, Robinson looking aggressively for his shot. 5 early points for him.
That pass is a little awry and out of bounds, and we saw Robinson do that in the previous round, come out making shots. He was the guy who was really on it for London.
He was. He set the tone, and again, he's one of these guys that he could score more points if he wanted to in this league, but he understands his responsibility as a point guard, and will contribute any way that's viable for the team to win a ball game.
Of course, he was on the London team when they lost to Plymouth, and he took it very personally. I'm sure he will remember that coming into this game. Needs to go up here from Parker. He was the MVP of the league that year as well. Here's Hamilton looking to attack. High off the glass.
Nice move from Ashley Hamilton. Looks active early, doesn't he? And crossed over to the strong right hand there. Nice finish.
Parker with the mid-range. Not sure you can do much about that defensively.
I don't think you can. He's so controlled for that jump shot as well. And again, another 6'8", long wingspan.
Here's Morcell trying to use his strength. Ocharobia trying to keep it alive. Morcell and Ocharobia win that battle, but not the war as London come away. Liggins looking to drive hard.
Excellent defense there from Ashley Hamilton. Didn't foul, just wanted to stay in front of Liggins there and make things difficult.
McGill at the top of the key.
A pull-up jump shot off the pick. Impossible to guard.
And again, what do? He just turns around, shoots over you.
Yeah, well, if he keeps making them, then you're going to have to jump out. You can't keep allowing him to hit open jump shots.
There's Hamilton dishing into Ocharobia. Can't make it.
Someone who's going to have a huge game today is Ocharobia. He's got to finish those ones around the rim.
Williams into Ali Hodzic, who's all on his own in the middle.
Good penetration baseline here from Williams. Just past Ali Hodges for the easy layup.
Beastie for three. And a short, good work from Mike Ocharobia with the rebound. Hamilton's three is missed. Liggins pulls in another rebound. So trying to get his shooter a good look in the corner, but nice hand to deflect that away. Dusha into the game and Neighbor as well, and Kingsley Okoro checks in. Really good down the stretch in the season, Big Kingsley.
Yeah, he has. Someone as well who was he third, fourth, fifth choice center position at the start of the season. Wasn't really a name we ever had to study too much on our research because he didn't feature. But now it's a completely different story.
And different player to eBay, but similar thing in that you think twice about attacking the lane when he's about, because he sure can block a shot. Although going after a block there, he fouls Dusha. I think Dusha would have known all about that.
Dusha's very brave here. He knows he has to go up through him to get the foul, and luckily it was a minor impact that could have been a colossal collision for him.
First free throw short.
.77% free throw shooter, LVC Dusha, and that was quite some way short as well.
Second one is good. Certainly a lower scoring first quarter than we saw in the first of our semi-finals. Here's Robinson driving in, throws it away. McGill with the steal. Morcell out and running. Morcell attacks the basket well and lays it in for two.
Mike Morcell is very good in the open floor. Again, some of his moves look a little unorthodox, but who cares? I mean, his finish rate is very effective there in the open floor.
His first basket of the game. Liggins, nice pass. Okoro forces it home.
Oh, good contest there from Ashley Hamilton, but he was going up against Okoro. Good 7'1". He's able to soft touch it off the rim.
Dusha under pressure. Gets it back. Dusha driving it in. The pass a little bit too low for Hamilton to pull in.
BC Dusha's penetration is very effective at times, and sometimes he maybe looks to pass too much. It was the right idea, just wasn't able to pull it off.
Well, we talk about London's depth. Kevin Ware into the game. Such an explosive scorer, and here's his first shot of the game, and not quite.
He doesn't need much time to warm up at all. First touch, puts it up.
Joe Edwin as well, who had a great shooting spell in that explosive first half they had in the second leg, as Okoro gets called for the foul.
That'll be his second foul, both on Dusha. So Dusha is really liking that matchup, despite giving up a good 7 or 8 inches.
Probably a bit more. Well, that's one way to take his presence out of the paint, send him to the bench.
Yeah, and it was unnecessary contact there. He had LVC Dusha in a difficult position.
1 minute and a half to go in the first quarter. 3 fouls in the game, all on London, 2 on him. Vince is going to leave him out there for now. Here's Ware. Coro cross, not quite. Gill with the steal. Couldn't quite keep it in play. He's had a couple in the game where he's just read it right and got the steals. That occasion he got his hands on the ball but couldn't stay in play. Liggins is fouled by Marcel.
Well, this isn't the free-flowing basketball we've seen, you know, from either team, but I think this will suit Plymouth. I mean, you've got to be happy that, you know, this type of basketball that you feel like Plymouth can compete quite comfortably here. And
Ware to the basket, or shoot two there. I mean, the thing is, you kept London to 15 points in 9 minutes. They're 1 of 5 from the three-point line. If you're going to beat them, those are the things. Low score, not many threes. Beastie going to come back in for Morcel as Kevin Ware goes to the free throw line.
And this is where Plymouth Raiders are going to need a lot more of those guys, you know, Morcel, Beastie, just because, you know, you take a Chris Porter-Button out of the equation and an Ubiara who would usually, you know, play valuable minutes in those spots. And I don't know, I think if you're Plymouth Raiders, you hope an Elliott sentence or someone that, you know, is going to just give you more than what was expected.
Or Dusha maybe. Oh, blocked by Williams. Well, surprised he turned the first one down there.
He shot the ball well as well last game. Joe, it can win. Very dangerous from out there.
So too is Beastie. And he strings it.
It's almost like a set shot, isn't it? He's not really jumping too high to get it off. It's, wow. But net.
Doesn't matter how you get it off if it goes in at 41.4% regularity. Ware getting to the basket but can't finish. Plymouth with a chance to take the lead here. Oh, nice from McGill to get to the basket.
That's so difficult, Dan. Just the speed to cross over and then finish with defenders all around you.
Liggins ticking it down. Drives in, top shot, well challenged by Beastie, and that will do it for the first quarter. And it is the Plymouth Raiders who lead here after 10 minutes.
Wow, and that's what they would like this game to be, that very sort of, I don't know, it's intense, you know, not much flow to it, but, you know, it's suiting the Plymouth Raiders at the moment because they're the team that's in the lead.
Well, it certainly is suiting the Plymouth Raiders. And they lead at the end of the first quarter. We'll be back with the second period right after this. Welcome back to the Morningside Arena in Leicester, where the London Lions trail the Plymouth Raiders by 2 as we get the second quarter underway. It is the number 2 seeds who get the first possession of this second quarter. Dusha harassing Dirk Williams, gets past him though, and a great assist. Oh no, but he's denied at the rim. Here's McGill out in transition, and he will finish defense to offense for the Raiders.
Defense looking very tight for the Plymouth Raiders at the moment, challenging shots, contesting shots, and that occasion blocking a shot to leak out for the open 2.
Where's Liggins? Out to Ware for 3. Off the mark.
Beasley looks very comfortable in that island by himself with Liggins, who very few players in the league you can say can handle themselves against Liggins there.
Dusha to inbound from the baseline. Oh, nearly jammed in by Hamilton. He's fouled from behind.
How was that ball entry pass so easy there? There was no screen or anything. It was just
standing there, wasn't he? Yeah.
Really bad defensive setup there. God, I know if I was anywhere near that and Coach Panascia, that was a trip to the bench, because you've got to be locked in there if you're London. You have to know. At least be in between the ball and the man. Ashley Hamilton will say thank you very much and try and capitalize here on both of his free throws.
And he makes the 2, and the lead is out to 6 here for Plymouth early on. Spinning. Oh, just rims out. It's a nice move. It's McGill to Dusha. Hamilton inside. He's got Ward Hibbert on his back, but he can't shake him, and in the end it's a tough shot. Liggins to Ward Hibbert. Oh, beautiful. Hop to the basket.
Early injection of Josh Ward Hibbert into the game, and he's already rewarded his coach.
McGill. I don't know what you do defensively against that.
The part you just kind of watches and appreciates it, because it's so difficult to guard, because if you do get up on that pull-up jump shot, remember, Ricky McGill's got that ability to dribble right by you and take it all the way to the rim.
As Williams trying to reply with his own pull-up. Ward Hibbert, as he does so well, crashing the offensive glass, getting his team a new possession. Where long rebound comes out, Beastie gets there first.
Beastie just doing those little things there. Come up with the ball, make the play.
Hamilton got a whack there. I think it might have been his own player, but it certainly hurt. The 3 goes in, they're going to have to stop the game. He got a whack from somebody running through. I don't know if it was Dusha or one of the London players, but he's not happy about it. Let's see if we can see what happens here. No, it was before that, as we have a look at the shot back.
Well, Dusha got a hit too.
Yeah, Dusha got one as well, but Hamilton before that got a whack as he was trying to come round the screen. He seems to be all right.
Well, Ricky McGill wasn't concerned because he just hit a 3.
And Plymouth have a 9-point lead here. Stangakodo played a big part in that first leg. Here's Ward Hibbert for 3. Rims out. Foul on the rebound. 15 wide for call.
London in a bit of early bother here. That'll be 8 for 26 now from the field, and this Plymouth Raiders defense growing in confidence.
An uncharacteristic 1 of 9 from the three-point line as well. McGill trying to get it to Hamilton. Just a little reach in there from Ward Hibbert.
If Ashley Hamilton can catch the ball, he'll be fine, but the issue's going to be on the post entry, because Josh Ward Hibbert thrives for that type of matchup where you can steal the ball and frustrate the bigger offensive player. But Ashley Hamilton can secure the basketball and get himself a one-on-one against Josh Ward Hibbert. You fancy him to score.
Dusha, high off the glass, misses. Robinson for 3, off the mark. Ward Hibbert recycles through the hands, but comes all the way to Robinson. Robinson. Dangakoto for the triple, and he can shoot the ball as well.
He can, and he's already played vital minutes in this playoff campaign for the London Lions. He'll throw in a game with a few minutes to go. It doesn't matter. He'll run the show, as we already saw previously.
First, he hadn't played until the 36th minute when Robinson, McGill misses the shot. Robinson got an injury, had to leave the game, and Dangakoto came off the bench, goes his 5 points, a nice assist, as well as Robinson driving. No, it's an offensive foul.
Ricky McGill making the big defensive play there. Have to see that one again, and Justin Robinson trying to make something happen. Ricky McGill was there, he was set, and good call from the referee.
Another stop for the Raiders. They lead by 6, have the ball to extend that lead as well. Here's Neighbor. Everything very high up here for Plymouth. Into Hamilton. Not quite enough on that. Ali Hodgett spinning baseline, and the foul call first on Hamilton.
Oh, good foul there from Hamilton, because that was a sure layup there for Ali Hodgett.
Certainly the 3rd foul of the game on the Plymouth Raiders. And these two teams lead the league in fouls committed. Plymouth 1, London 2. London well on pace for their average, Plymouth not so much. And turned over again, thrown forward to Hamilton. Hamilton driving hard and finishing at the rim, flexing the muscles. He'll go to the line for a bonus.
Ashley Hamilton just too big, too strong there on that occasion for Josh Ward Hibbert. Nice challenge, but even better finish.
You can see there, got him on the arm.
Again, it was another defensive stop from the Plymouth Raiders, and they sort of just threw it was a ball through, wasn't it? They threw the ball, advanced the ball, and see who was the fastest in the green jersey to get it, and it was Ashley Hamilton.
Played it over the top, and you run on.
No offsides, of course.
No offsides. Midway through the second period, Plymouth with a 8-point lead. Here's Ali Hodgett, and nice work with Liggins for the bucket.
He might be a really good option at the moment. No one really big enough to contest Ali Hodgett. Get him in that pick and roll or post-up option.
Dangakoto is a great on-ball defender, doing a tremendous job of harassing Dusha all the way down the court. But once they got it there, Hamilton found life a bit more easy.
You see the confidence now, an array of moves that Ashley Hamilton has since coming back from his injury. Looking like the player he was before.
Dangakoto Broken up by McGill, almost saved through the legs by Dusha.
3 seconds left on the shot clock to muster a scoring opportunity for the Lions.
Well, they've played 16 minutes. They've scored 23 points. It's very un-London-like.
It is, yes.
Ali Hodzic finds an easy one. What were Plymouth doing there?
I think they were looking for the activity up top. They thought that Robinson was going to get a handoff, or all the while, Ali Hodges just simple dribble to the rim and dunks the ball.
Well, that was almost as bad as the one at the other end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of defense. Well, a timeout called here in the second quarter. It's a 6-point Plymouth lead after that score, but you have to say that if you're just reading the game without looking at the scoreboard, Plymouth well on top at the minute.
Yeah. In terms of the flow, and I think defensively as well, Plymouth have made things that substantially harder for London. Just for the simple fact of we're used to seeing London just drain threes or at least hit shots. They're currently 2 for 11 from the 3-point line, which is a very below par, 18%. So look, I think the game plan Plymouth Raiders had coming into this was, let's frustrate this London Lions team, and they're executing the game plan so far to date.
Well, they certainly are, and they've found ways of scoring at the other end. Obviously, McGill with 13 already in the ball game, and Hamilton with 8, and a number of other guys have all chipped in with a basket here or there, and just keep turning that scoreboard over, which is what they've got to do in this situation.
Yeah, they've used 7 players to achieve what they've achieved so far, and again, you gotta tip your hat off to Paul James, who's clearly give his team here a game plan, and at the moment it's looking pretty good for the Raiders.
Oh, that's a tough pass. Morcell caught it though. Morcell driving hard, and it will be an offensive foul.
Morcell had numbers as well. Will Neighbour was
in the corner, lurking.
Wide open. Good pass and catch here from Morcell. Ali Hodges, he's a game changer so far. He's doing everything right, both ends of the floor. London are going to have to look to go down low to Ali Hodges. And he's shooting 80% at the moment from the field. 8 points.
Well, I am the guy who says take it to the basket instead of flaring out the threes all the time, but on that occasion I've kicked it to Will Neighbour for sure. That's way off the mark. Is Dangakoda with 3 much-needed points for the Lions.
Dangakoda coming up big again. That's his second 3. Let's stay already.
Beastie looking to reply, and he knocks it down.
Ryan Beastie. Retaliation.
His second triple. Now Robinson for 3 off the mark. Ali Hodzic with the offensive rebound. All the way back round to Robinson. This time he knocks it in.
It's very rare you'll see Justin Robinson missing 2 in a row in quick succession.
Will Neighbour now in the corner. That's off the mark. Bit of tempo into the game here. Robinson looking to push. Round it goes to Dangakodo. Turns down the 3 and ends up with the charge.
Good defensive stance there, and charge taken by Ashley Hamilton this time. But you can see that with the increase of that tempo, you can see it favouring London in that instance. Okay, not on this occasion. It was a great stand there from Ashley Hamilton, but I think with that higher tempo, shot for shot, you have to favour the London Lions in that environment.
Oh, McGill getting all the way to the basket and just dropped it out of bounds.
Good push from Ricky McGill. Yep, just loses the handle.
Well, they haven't been at their best, London, but they could potentially tie the game here. Ali Hodzic spinning back the other way, travelled with it.
Wow, it went down low to Elliot Hodgson. I think he picked up his dribble too early. If I'm him, I want one more dribble just to get me to the middle, which commits Ashley Hamilton so that I can spin back around baseline, and he just picked the ball up a little bit too soon, which then, you know, it's a really awkward reverse pivot then, and picked it up and travelled.
Neighbour back to McGill. Here's Morcell, all the way to the basket, lays it in.
Wow, that's what they need Mike Morcell to do. Stay aggressive. That's what he did in previous fixture against Worcester Wolves. Collected 66 points in both games.
Robinson creates some space, and what a shot that is for Justin Robinson into double figures.
So difficult, isn't it? Pull back dribble there, beautiful to create space, and knocks down the shot.
Hamilton, that's a difficult one as well, and he's into double figures as well.
Well, the star players are starting to heat up a little bit, and you can see the comfort they feel now of taking some.
Robinson off the mark this time. Hamilton pulls in his 8th rebound of the game, kicks out to McGill for an easy lay-in.
Wow, what a rebound too there. He snatched that from Alec Hodges, who's bigger and stronger compared to Ashley Hamilton in stature, but nice rebound and outlet to Ricky McGill for the easy layup.
Liggins gets all the way to the basket. A little whack down at him by Ryan Beastie. And he will shoot 2.
Well, Liggins has been very quiet by his standards. He's 0 points, 0 for 5. He has got 6 rebounds and 7 assists, so it's not a comment I'm saying lightly, saying he's not doing anything, but he's had his struggle shooting the ball like a lot of his teammates have so far in this game.
Well, this is always a way to get it going, he says, as he misses the first. Second one is clean. Dusha returns. Morcell will get the last minute off here. London with the show of full court, certainly pressuring the ball in Dusha's hands. So Hamilton brings it forward. Back to Hamilton. And they just kept going, the pair of them, and it goes in.
That's a really good step through from Ashley Hamilton as well. Didn't rush it, he was patient, he stopped, and then when he saw an opportunity, he stepped through there and all the way for the left-hand finish.
Liggins underneath, and look at frustration as he hit the bottom of the ring there.
Any elevation whatsoever on that jump.
His neighbour, who does get some elevation on his jump, and Vince McCauley's going to call a timeout here with 23.5 seconds to go in the first half. His team down 10.
Plymouth Raiders looking like they're having fun as well. You can see the confidence, the belief, the right to be here as well.
Well, he's going to try and get some points on the board here, Vince, with this timeout.
We haven't saw the customary London Lions offense at the moment. You know, Derek Williams, he's sitting on 0 points. He's shot the ball 3 times only. They haven't really looked to get him involved much. And as we said, Liggins 0 for 6. You know, these are 2 guys that typically are huge parts of the offense. Parker's chipped in with 4, but he's only, you know, he's taken, you know, he's 2 for 5 from the field at the moment as well. Robinson really the only, you know, aggressor in that stance that offensively that we typically see.
Well, 34 points for London in the first half. They do occasionally throw in a bit of a funky first half, but I don't see it. I don't know, you think back, Leicester had 36 in the first quarter, didn't they? Admittedly, they didn't score many after that, but well, Paul James will be delighted with how things are going as half-time approaches. Well, let's see what Vince has drawn up here. Shot clock is off, obviously. So the Lions can take the final attempt of the half. Liggins running it down. McGill in front of him, looking to attack. And that's going to be another offensive foul. This time it was Will Neighbour who felt the full force of the charge.
I think that was a sore one. I think he hits his head on the fall, and then Archerobia falls on his leg. It's a double whammy for... Oh, he took it too. And
oh, he got a knock on the way down.
Anna, oh, goodness me. Archerobia done some serious damage there.
Well, you can see he did everything he could to try and not land on his teammate, but he wasn't very successful in it. And this could be a blow here for the Plymouth Raiders if Neighbour is seriously injured. He's going to have to come out of the game here. And I suppose it is just before half-time, so they can have a look at him over the break. He's walking off okay.
You just hope that the head collision isn't bad. That's obviously the one that can well, be serious, but also put you out for concussion procedures. 10 days, 14 days later.
Yeah, the season's over.
Yeah.
Well, they will be assessing him now. As I say, he seemed to get up okay and walk off okay, but you just don't really know. Plymouth call a timeout here. 7.6 and a chance to take a 12 or 13 point lead into the half should they be able to score on this, which would be their biggest lead of the ball game.
Yeah, and a promising sign for this Plymouth Raiders team yet again. Out of the timeout, they get another stop, another London, another stop, and again, as you said, down at 8 seconds is a good enough. 7.6 seconds is a good enough amount of time here to run something and execute.
And as we always talk about, every possession counts in an 80-minute game. And every point does as well. And another 2 or 3 to the tally will be very welcome here for the Plymouth Raiders if they can enact what Coach James has drawn up on the playboard. Beastie jogs down court to receive the ball from the official on the sideline. London with a show of a full court pressure. Oh, they've run that really well. Dusha with the mid-range, perfect. That was perfect. Robinson from his own foul line is off the mark, but that was a well-executed out-of-bounds play by the Plymouth Raiders.
It was indeed, and it was beautiful to watch. And just the board barely touched the floor there. It was pass, and Avisi Dusha with a very comfortable-looking pull-up jump shot there to finish.
And he actually had some time. He probably could have put it on the floor as well. I mean, it really was. And the way the game started, it was a little bit scrappy, but London on top. But then Plymouth have just been really good defensively, taking charges. And when they've come down the other end of the floor, they managed to get to the basket and get good shots.
They haven't been, dictated by London Lions the way that this game's going to go. They've actually set the tone themselves. They've done that through just good old-fashioned, hard work and sticking to the defensive structure. They've had some really, prominent performances offensively from, Ricky McGill on 15 points, Ashley Hamilton on 12 points, yes, but defensively they've just been the tougher aggressor out of the two teams, and as a result they're up by 12.
Well, only 4 made 3-pointers for the London Lions in that first half. Let's get some reaction. Mike Tuck is courtside.
I'm here with Ryan Beasley. Ryan, how do you feel about that first half?
Yeah, pretty good. Can't complain. Good start. We're good on D, so we just got to keep pushing it.
Yeah, and let's talk about that defense. I thought you guys did really well on the defensive end. What was your mindset going in?
Man, we're just bringing the energy. We got energy off the bench and energy on the court. We're all for each other, and we're just going to maintain that throughout the second half.
Yeah, I thought you personally did really well against Liggins. Was that a matchup that you guys talked about before the game?
Yeah, we thought I matched up okay with him, being long and stuff, but he's a great player, so see how we go.
And what are your thoughts going into this second half? Where do you guys need to improve?
I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep up the defense, because that'll be our key to the win.
Definitely. One last question here. Who's your barber?
I don't have one, obviously. Maybe you can hook me up with one.
Hey, great job in the first half. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Mike Tuck can definitely hook him up with a barber. I'm sure he'll be making some phone calls as we speak. What a half for Ryan Beastie and the Raiders. Some people have seen them as underdogs in this tie. It's not a script they're reading. A 12-point lead at the half. Welcome back to Leicester at the half. The London Lions have gone in 12 points behind. Getting some offense going, but not enough. And the defense of the Raiders, not to mention taking their opportunities at the other end of the court, means they got a 12-point lead at half-time. Take a look at these stats, because we talked up the big offensive game of the London Lions, who've been in brilliant form, searing form, particularly from the three-point range coming into this game. Just 4-14 from that distance, shooting uncharacteristically off for the Lions. Only Justin Robertson in double digits. Plymouth, on the other hand, taking more of their chances. Both Ricky McGill and Ashley Hamilton already in double digits. Although Mike Tuckett's defense that's been defining this Plymouth side for much of the season, and again, very much in the first half. What have they done so effectively to put this Lions offense off its stride?
I think that they've done a great job on their best players and holding them to low scores or if nothing. You look at Dirk hasn't scored yet, and what's his name? Liggins, sorry. Yeah, Liggins hasn't scored yet, and they've defensively, I think they've done a really good job, especially on individually and team-wise.
So anonymous, we couldn't even remember his name for a second there, but it's a great job. Ryan Beastie, who you chat to half-time, has done a real number on him, hasn't he?
He's done a great job, but what we were talking about Prince Ebe, the shot-blocking ability that he has, Plymouth have stepped up, they've taken charges. So instead of blocking shots now they're getting the foul and getting the possession. So it's been a really, really nice thing to watch how the job they've been doing defensively, especially. For
the defensive purists, they've loved that. It wasn't a particularly exciting first quarter offensively, if that's your thing, although this from Ricky McGill, because we don't have our plays of the week on this week's show, but there's only one word for this, Kieran Achara.
That is just absolutely disgusting. Just the change in direction. He's so crafty, he's such a good player. But what I was saying about Ricky McGill, he's getting those easy buckets on the break, but he's also willing to just go at anybody. One-on-one here, create space, and he can get to the basket and he can shoot. And I think that's a really, really deadly combination.
Yeah, he really kicked on, Mike. 15 points. He was Plymouth's leading scorer and leading by example. Another key protagonist in the Raiders' first half was Ashley Hamilton. Of course, we keyed in on him pre-game, given the season that he has had. And he was so significant at both ends of the court once again. Almost a double-double in that first half, 12 points, 8 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's their go-to guy. He's their big British player. He just got named to the Molten All-British team. So, huge respect to him. And he's doing what he does best. He's being aggressive, going to the rack. And like we see here, he's adding little extra stuff to his moves. He's not just going downhill. He's adding a spin. He's adding a crossover. He's taking his time, finishing in traffic. I mean, this is what you want from your power forward.
The Plymouth bench, as we talked about, Kieran, clearly not as stacked in terms of depth as the London Lions bench, and Noibe, Ubiaro, Porter Bunton. Both McGill and Hamilton played 40 minutes in the previous round in the second game. How much of that is going to be a problem for them, not just in the second half of this game, being a little bit light on the bench, but also for the second leg as well?
What I've been really impressed with the Plymouth bench is, one, they're the loudest bench in the league by far. They're annoying from being on the bench. But when they've come into the game, they stick to their assignments. And I think that's what PJ has them bought into. You have Dusha coming in. He's doing a really good job defensively as well, stepping up, making shots when asked upon. But everyone's contributing to that team. So even when you're getting your superstars out of the game, they're still in the game defensively.
All right, they certainly are, and they're certainly in control of this one at the moment. An upset on the cards now. We've been getting up close and personal with a lot of the BBL personalities over the course of the season, and we haven't excluded the coaches in that. It hasn't all been about the players. Here are some of our favourite bits from the coaches' chats.
Hi, I'm Andres Capoulas. My name is Paul James. Ian McLeod. And I'm the head coach.
Player coach. For the Surrey Scorchers basketball organisation.
The Cheshire Phoenix.
Leicester Raiders.
London Lions, best team in the country.
Competitive.
Determined.
Hardworking. Honest.
Thorough.
Understanding.
Blessed.
Loyal.
Easygoing. That's 2 words. Typhonated.
Winning the playoffs in 2016. My first cap for Zimbabwe.
It's got to be winning the cup.
Parents were there. It was their wedding anniversary as well.
And what made it so special for me is that my son was on the bench with me, and wow, that was special for everyone in our family.
Playing 5-on-5 with Michael Jordan in Brixton in 1986.
Did you win?
Of course, I was on his team.
There's plenty of them, trust me.
When I was younger, when I was playing for Arbroath Musketeers, I dropped the cup and it smashed in pieces.
Suddenly, while I was kind of being very animated, I slipped and I fall down on the floor.
Get mad about something in a game. That's always pretty embarrassing in my house when I get back home.
So I was managing the game, and it was a sideline out of bounds with maybe a minute left on the clock, and I drew up a fantastic play. But unfortunately, it was an end line out of bounds play that I drew up.
I was ejected from a BBL game in my first season, and I think I put the ball in the rafters with my foot.
When I was a little kid, I shot in the wrong hoop in a game, which was really embarrassing.
If I was an animal, a fox.
A lion, obviously.
A lion.
I'm fearsome. King of the jungle, leader of the pride.
Wily, sneaky, plans well.
I like birds of prey. Now I see dolphins all the time and I think to myself, boy, they got it made.
I think there's no more loyal animal than a dog.
I like the idea of being a sloth because all they do is eat and sleep.
An elephant, chilling, relaxing, walking about eating.
Coach Matt Newby with my favourite answer there, the most honest, going sloth. I mean, of all the animals he could have gone with, he went with sloth. Rob Paternoster getting angry on the sidelines. Mike, I don't believe it.
Angry like a dolphin.
Have you met many angry dolphins?
No. But yeah, no, Rob is one of the most passionate guys we have in this league, and he gets fired up, and I'm sure he's got a list of embarrassing moments from that.
Your most embarrassing moment?
You know what, Mom? I've told you my story of the most embarrassing moment. I was hurt in a game, fell down, and the referee stopped the game. I got back up and ran down the court and posted up. The whole game had stopped. I was looking around like, why is no one passing me the ball? Yeah, that was probably my most embarrassing.
Tell me there's video footage of that. I'm gonna get on it and look for that. Right then, at the half, the Plymouth Raiders in charge right now. The London Lions have got a fight on their hands. Second half action is coming next. Welcome back to Leicester, where at the half, the Plymouth Raiders are in control. The Lions have got a fight on their hands. Their offense needs to find an answer to one of the best defenses in the BBL. The second half is about to tip off, so let's get back to Ant and Dan.
And that's really the question. Thanks, Nat. And the offense really for London, 34 points. If they finish this game with 68, they're going to get beat.
They are, yeah, and we'll all be very surprised as well. And it'll be a credit to the Plymouth Raiders defence inevitably, because at the moment that's been the frustration for the London Lions offence. Really, the only players that have been able to get in any type of flow is this guy, Justin Robinson. 10 points for him, shooting the ball at 57%. And Ali Hodges has been a really good, I think, efficient stream of offence for them. But other than that, everyone else having their frustrations and struggles.
Well, Mike Tucker's joined us up in commentary. And Mike, we think about the shooters they've got. Dirk Williams 0 of 3, DeAndre Liggins 0 of 6, Kevin Ware 0 of 4. Just unusual numbers for the London Lions.
Yeah, and like Ant said, I think it's a testament to the Raiders defense. I think that they've really clued in on assignments, and they're doing a really good job of individual defense, but it's also carrying over in the team defense side. They're really doing a good job of walling up and helping each other out.
Well, it's Plymouth who get us underway here in the second half, and McGill's 3 is short, but there's Beastie doing what he did in the quarterfinals, crashing the offensive boards and getting a new shot clock for his team. Morcell moves it on. Hamilton for 3. Great challenge by Williams.
It was a really good challenge. Good basketball as well for the Plymouth Raiders. They were patient, inside, outside, and rotated the basketball, but a good defensive possession there from the London Lions.
Robinson is fouled by McGill. It's only his first.
Justin Robinson's going to have to make a decision here as well. Is he going to choose to look for his own shot here? Again, one of the few players on this team that have efficiently shot the ball, or does he look to distribute and get others involved?
Liggins crossed to Parker for 3. Rims out. London now 4 of 15 from behind the arc. McGill, beautiful. All the way. The tip-in is good. So Charobia got his hands on it.
It was good activity from Mark Charobia there, and it all starts for Ricky McGill, again, creating for himself. Another whistle there.
Beastie call for the foul. Just a little reach in. Is Ale Hodzic going to work in the low block?
Man, how efficient has he been tonight? Every touch he's got inside, he's got something great going towards the basket, not rushing it, just great looks at the basket all night.
5 of 6 for his 10 points. Poked away there as well. Liggins to Robinson. Sets himself for 3. I think the pass was leading him forward and he had to pull it back. McGill going the long way around. Poked loose by Robinson. Hamilton for the triple. McGill with the offensive rebound. And then he loses it.
Hodges defensively has been very good, and equally as good offensively for Ali Hodges, but again, he's typically, when the big man gets mismatched on the guard, it can be very difficult, but he's done a really good job there of switching off the picks and hedging, and situations such as that, just making sure his body's in the way of the guard.
There's Williams. Going all the way in. I don't know whether he's shooting on that. Yeah, he is getting 2 shots for that, so it would have counted if it had gone in.
Frustrated, I think, Derek Williams here, because he kind of casually just puts that up, and you feel like a tad bit more focus. He makes that shot, and he's a 3-point play.
Well, a chance to get his first points of the game. It's number 2 in the league in scoring.
I think what's been most impressive about his scoring is wise. He's made big shots. You know, he's not one of these guys I look for as a sort of a front runner, or, you know, making shots here or there. You know, when the game's on the line or it's a big situation, he makes those shots now. And you know, I think for me, that's why he is that next level player in this league.
Well, 3 made essentially on the buzzer at the end of the first leg of the quarterfinal. Really took the wind out of Cheshire's sails.
Yep.
Gave London all the momentum to start the second leg with. They never look back. Here's Parker in the corner. Hits the 3.
Justin Robinson again. Penetration there, and difficult pass on the baseline, but he sees his teammate open, and Parker gets it to go.
Hamilton off the mark. There's Beastie again on the offensive glass. And that one bobbles about but doesn't go. Another offensive rebound for Plymouth. Morcell driving in. His foul called.
It's just good old-fashioned hard work there. Ryan Beastie with a first offensive rebound, and then get it another one, and Morcell attacks the rim and gets Robinson to commit the foul.
9 offensive rebounds for the Plymouth Raiders in the ball game so far.
And that's exactly what they do. They do best. I think that's the type of game that they want. They want second chances. They're attacking everything so aggressively. I think this game has really catered to them in the first half, especially. It's been kind of chippy. It's been up and down. The refs have really been letting them play, so it's been super physical. It's the exact type of game that caters to Plymouth style.
Nine-point Plymouth lead here. Early in the third quarter. Parker has space. He lets that 3-ball fly. It's off the mark. Beastie with yet another rebound. His 7th of the game. Robinson knew he was beat. Commits the foul.
Well, a couple of quick fouls from Robinson. Now taking the third. 3 fouls personal.
McGill lobbing it in. Back out to Beastie for 3. Ooh, Hamilton went to jam the rebound. That pass isn't going to reach Williams. Stolen away by McGill. Morcell for 3. That's out of bounds.
There you go. Second chances, creating deflections. Even if they're not getting the ball, they're creating deflections and good things are happening.
London got away with one too. Carelessly turning the ball over and then Morcell stepping into a 3. Very fortunate that they're not down by 12 now.
Coro with the holding foul on the inbound. He might have to turn himself around and go back out again with another foul. Well, I'm going to get off my lawn there. One of them should have took it to the basket rather than taking that 3 on the last play. Old man rules. Hamilton driving through, and they end up... Ooh, the referees are going to talk this over because they pointed in opposite directions.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but London shoot the most and make the most threes.
That's correct, and do it at the best percentage. And it is going to be a London ball. And in terms of attempts, they're right on pace for where they normally are. It's the makes that are behind. Parker trying to do something about that, missing everything.
Yeah, well, he's made one, hasn't he? And he's trying to get something going here. But missed the last 2 3-pointers, which suggests he's not hot anymore.
Well, plenty of work for Vince McCauley and his coaching staff to do here. It's not just the fact they're down 9, it's the way they're playing. Williams with the deflection.
Well, plays like that will help, active hands, anticipating passes, and just being mentally locked in for potential steals.
Oh, it's thrown away. It's going to be a foul there on Hamilton. It's not a great pass. It's put him in an awkward spot.
Yeah, agreed. And Plymouth Raiders have an opportunity here to keep building on this, or at least preserving their lead, but making some errors themselves now and giving that opportunity to London.
Parker trying to drive through, and that's deflected away. In there from McGill. Fouls on the floor. It's on Will Neighbour.
That's an extremely difficult matchup for Will Neighbour there.
Over the limit, it's going to be 2 free throws.
I can confirm that. He is a large human being.
He is a very large human being. He's done really well. Me and Ro were talking about it earlier in the game, but since he's come into the lineup over the last month or 6 weeks or so, he's played really well.
Yeah, I mean, we played them the last game of the season, and he got quite a few minutes, and he was just solid. Just did his job, did what they wanted him to do, got in. He was blocking shots, getting rebounds, setting screens, and that's what you want from your big man.
Well, Dirk Williams is trying to inject a bit of life into the defense of his team. You can see he's right up on McGill. The problem with that is a crafty maneuver of the ball like McGill can draw you into a foul.
But it's the right intention, Dan. I think Dirk Williams is trying to make something happen. He just needs to be mindful he's guarding one of the quickest guys in the league.
Here's McGill looking to attack, getting all the way to the basket.
He does a good job there not to foul.
Yeah.
Hands straight up, he's running away from the contact.
Liggins to the basket, is denied by Hamilton. That'll be a Lions ball.
Well, there's a certain amount of shots where you think, oh, it's a good move and unfortunate to finish, but Liggins has to start making shots here now. That's another layup he's missed, and he has to make them.
He's got the pass to Robinson as foul. And Liggins still yet to make a field goal in the game.
His passing and his rebounds, not an issue. He's got 8 assists and 6 rebounds. He just cannot figure out for himself how to get himself into any consistent flow on offense, shooting the basketball.
Also a little surprised they haven't put him on McGill, the extra length. I mean, Dirk's pretty long and he's a good defender, but
yeah,
just maybe allow the defense to get his offense going.
I mean, the guy he has guarded, Marcel, is a guy that can score in bunches too. And it's, I just think for Marcel is a guy that's more than likely to get you 30 points.
Well, back off Dusha at your peril. And Parker with the foul.
It's another offensive rebound, and what is that? 10 offensive rebounds, wow.
Not really turn them into points though. Just 2 second chance points from those 10 rebounds. And Hamilton not adding to those 2. Missing them both. Well, for all Plymouth have felt the better team in the first 25 minutes. Their lead is only 5 here. After shot off the mark. McGill. Down to Hamilton. I think there's a hold there on Robinson. And he's talking because on that switch, they don't want Robinson down there with Hamilton. So he's talking about somebody's got to switch out quicker so that I'm not stuck there with him. I think it was Liggins he was looking at, but it was too late by the time it happened. And now Robinson has to sit down on 4 personal fouls, and he's the one guy they've been able to score with today. This is a real opportunity here for Plymouth.
Yes.
They're up 6 already. Robinson on the bench in foul trouble. Liggins can't make a shot. Dirk hasn't really scored at all. He's not made a field goal. This is a chance to try and put some daylight going into the second leg.
The only thing I would say is the guy on the board, Danger Kodo,
can do that.
Yes, that takes him to 9 points personal. He's been an absolute assassin coming off that bench.
Well, that's an important shot. And of course, defensively, he's very good on the ball, and his job now to try and keep McGill quiet. Dusha back to Morcell. Morcell going the long way round and laying it in.
That's what Morcell will do. He'll be able to score, attack the rim.
Dangakodo. Josh Ward-Hibbert, long two off the mark. Parker with the rebound, ripped away from him by McGill. Neighbours all on his own here. They're scrambling a little defensively. They're set up now. I don't think they've got all the matchups they intended, but everybody's guarded. Well, Hamilton's left, and he knocks it down top of the key.
Great patience from the Raiders there. They're really just feeling it out and getting the best shot that they can on that possession.
You know, BC Dusha is a type of point guard that loves to just orchestrate those types of offenses.
Ward-Hibbert left all on his own, stepped into 17 feet. McGill with the quick step all the way to the basket, and the foul on the late help on Orlando Parker.
How quick is his first step? I mean, he sees a little glimpse of daylight and he's taking it head down, but this kid's speed is something else, and he's also got that ability to change directions on a dime as well, so great ability to have at that position, and this kid's something special.
With the pull-up jump shot too, you think, how is it possible? You know, the scouting report on him is, do your best.
Try
really hard.
Try to stay in front. Try with a hand up.
Well, it took him a little while to get going in the league. His early numbers the first month or two, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, were not actually that great, and then something clicked, and suddenly he was scoring freely.
Well, I think for me it was when Hamilton had to sit out for about a month or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And after that, that's when McGill went on. I think it was like 3 games in a row with plus 30 or 28, something like that. So that's when he really gained that confidence and came into his own.
Neighbor. Liggins. Out to Williams for 3. Foul is called. I'm not sure it's on the shot, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's on the shot.
Oh, is it?
Shooting, yeah.
I didn't know. I saw somebody hit the deck. I didn't know if there was a push in there. Let's have a look.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe
Yeah,
it was on.
Neighbor pushing over Liggins. And it is Liggins who's going to the free throw line.
What happens if you push Liggins into Derek, who was shooting the ball?
It's just bad luck. It's still a foul. It's still Liggins shooting.
Well, it'd be great. It'd be great luck because you'd fouled the guy who's going to shoot 2 and put the guy off who just. Derek Williams is very good at shooting 3 in the corner.
New defensive strategies over here, Rob. Giving me ideas for next season.
Well, Paul James not overly impressed with the outcome. I think he might get a warning. The bench has been asked to sit down, not for the first time today. Maybe he didn't get a warning in all of that. Well, Liggins' only points of the game have come from the free throw line. He's 3 of 4. Ooh, Douche has just lost the handle. He's got to be quick here. Gets it over, but turns it over. Dangakodo to Dirk Williams, and that's a goaltend. Ocharobia hit the backboard and then pushed it back.
What a tangent there, and Dangakodo and Dirk Williams. Started with Dirk Williams. Great one-on-one full court pressure there on a VC Dusha, and between them, got the turnover to come, and is it? Yes.
Yes. Hit the backboard, then he's touched it. Dirk Williams' first field goal of the game. It didn't go through the net, but it'll go on the stat sheet.
Breath of fresh air from the lines here. I like that intensity.
Yeah.
That's what they need. They need to turn it on now before they get to the 4th, so that when they hit the 4th, they're rolling.
As said, they haven't played that well. They're only down 2. Here's Liggins being aggressive defensively and forcing the turnover.
What a play. What a play.
And a bounce pass. Dangakoto for the lead. Ward Hibbert off the back. Off the ring.
Look, they didn't convert on that occasion, but the offense looks so much more fluid now. They're sharing the basketball, they're moving, they're finding the open guy.
Backdoor is McGill.
It's a great pass and finish too, because McGill, it wasn't over. When he received the ball, he still had to shoot over a contested 6'9" Ali Hodgetts.
Liggins trying to bail out of the shot, but ends up throwing it out of bounds.
A nice movement from the ref too. It looked like a raging bull was coming after him, and he was able to move out of the line there.
He's got to shoot that shot, though.
Yeah.
You got to let that fly.
McGill, great pass, and Ocherobia there to score.
That's a great look from Ricky McGill, and Ocherobia just stay available, stay ready. Easy finish.
Williams. He has the mismatch, kicks it out. Dangakoto knocks down the triple.
Dangakoto has been such a positive injection into this game for the London Lions on both ends of the floor. Boy, is that a big shot, another big shot. 12 points personal for him.
4 of 4 from behind the arc. His neighbor getting all the way to the basket. Ocherobia again on the offensive glass, but they turn it over. Here's Liggins again, zipping it round to Dirk Williams for 3. McGill in transition, driving hard, knocked loose, and that is going to stay with the Raiders. There's a flop warning in there on Josh Ward Hibbert. One second left in the third quarter. Dusha inbounds to McGill, who nearly makes it, but with his back to basket. Well, a better finish that to the third quarter for the London Lions. They were looking for a bit of life from somewhere, and Jules Dangakoto certainly provided it for them. Bit of defense and some made threes at the other end. And that has got them right back into this contest. It's a 3-point game as we head towards the fourth quarter. We'll be right back after this break. Well, Vince McCauley and his London Lions have been behind for much of this game, but they will get the first possession of the fourth quarter with a chance to potentially level things up. Here's Liggins. Has room, looking for that tying shot, off the mark.
Difficult shot in any any type of form you're in, but Liggins not had the best shooting nights. That'll take him to 0 for 8 from the field now.
His neighbor. He misses the three. Liggins trying to get himself a double-double without the points. He's got 8 rebounds and 10 assists. Wow. He's actually closer to a triple-double with steals because he's got 4 steals and only 3 points. That would be quite impressive, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If you could get a triple-double without the points.
Jules Dangakoto's just been such a positive impact on this game.
Dangakoto misses his first shot of the game. He was 4 of 4 from behind the arc before that. McGill out to Dusha. Offloads to Neighbor. Another offensive rebound. Hamilton underneath, and the foul is called on DeAndre Liggins.
15 offensive rebounds for the Plymouth Raiders, and this is a big part of why they're in the lead right now. They lead the league in offensive rebounds, but oddly enough, they're 6th in converting them in second chance points. And you know, we see that personified this evening, and they've only got 2 second chance points right now. So there's a lot of work being done there and a lot of graft being put in on the offensive rebound, but not as much reward.
Well, there's another point to the tally. And he makes both of them. Gap is back up to 5. Liggins. Dusha. Nice fast break. Morcell converts and one.
There's Morcell just doing what he does. Great pass up the court from Dusha here. And instead of being selfish or anything like that, Ricky McGill makes the extra pass, the hockey pass, and they get a great and-one finish awarded at the line.
And that offensive transition too is just beautiful to watch. The ball's not being dribbled. It's, you know, the ball's moving. You know, it's just, and in a matter of seconds, Morcell's converted the play.
It's one for the basketball purists.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Somebody should have fanned out to the corner and shot a 3.
21st century basketball.
Here's Dangakoto. To Liggins. Liggins out to Ward Hibbert. Looking to get to the basket and doing so well. Josh Ward Hibbert all the way to the rack.
He's created something out of nothing there and done very well. Squeezing through that gap and finishing.
Offensive foul. Neighbor trying to take advantage, and he's actually hooking Josh Ward Hibbert.
Well, Will Neighbour's 6'10". Feels he has an advantage there against Josh Ward Hibbert. Going to take him down in the post. Well, not a lot in it.
I'm looking at you two. If that got called against either of you, what are you thinking?
I'll be upset.
Yeah, I'd be very upset.
Oh, he might have got away with the grab there, Neighbour, because Ward Hibbert was slipping to the basket, but he's still able to score.
Again, he has a lot to do when he catches the ball. Josh Ward Hibbert is by no means an easy layup.
Morcell getting all the way to the basket in the finger roll.
Got to take away that right hand of his. He's going to get all the way to the basket.
Williams all the way. Both teams attacking.
Yeah, and that's the type of play you want to see Williams making. You know, getting into his rhythm dribble and then attacking to his right hand.
Dusha now. They're all going at it.
Pound for pound right now.
Ward Hibbert misses the three. Hamilton wants it, gets it. No way past Ward Hibbert yet. Still working at it. And Ward Hibbert wins that battle, but London can't secure the ball.
They really can't. They've really struggled defensively, the defensive rebounds today. Even to the point where they can't secure it off one another. Very frustrating turnover.
Dusha changing the play there. He was going to inbound. He's changed the play and he's going to get McGill to do it. Make sure everybody else is lined up. Point guard knows the plays better than anybody else. Liggins with the deflection. Well, that's the third time somebody on the bench has been told to sit down. You've got to watch it. Dusha. Dusha driving in, kicks out Beastie for three. Hits it!
Oh, Beastie, Dusha penetrated and making the right play yet again. Nice pump fake from Beastie and comfortable in shooting that three.
Bert Williams. Out to Liggins for three. Wow, it's taken 10 attempts, but Dirk Liggins has his first field goal of the game.
That's so difficult, isn't it, to have such a poor shooting night to be able to come up with a big play there.
McGill into the finger roll. Basket is good. Free throw coming.
Plymouth Raiders are not laying down everything that London Lions throws at them. They've responded.
Love it. Absolutely fired up. This is playoff basketball right here. This is what you want to see from your leaders. You know, right in the face of Kevin Ware. They're hyped up. They're pumped up. This is BBL playoff basketball.
Well, you have to go back to the end of March for the last time the London Lions lost a game, but they're staring down the barrel here as Liggins goes to the basket. He'll take the foul. Of course, it wouldn't be terminal if they don't win the game, because it is an aggregate situation.
Well, you possibly see a change in Liggins here. He's got that focus and attack mode sort of presence in him at the moment, and sometimes you make one shot that could lead to bigger and better things.
First one rattles about and in. He might get a triple-double yet. 2 rebounds, 3 points away. It would have been the hardest working triple-double he's ever had, I should imagine. Here's Dusha. Back to Beastie. Hamilton. Neighbor inside. This time he's got good position, but he can't score. Liggins has his 9th rebound. Deflected away, but right to Kevin Ware.
Sometimes when you work hard and you run the floor, you get rewarded, and Kevin Ware did on that occasion.
Talk about right place, right time.
Down to Neighbor. Spins, blocked by Liggins. Out to Williams. Williams stumbling, gets it back to Liggins. Liggins, no way through, finds Ware, and the foul is called.
Well, I think the right place, right time struck again for Kevin Ware because he's caught the ball and he's just got smashed by his own player and Beastie.
That's what you talked about, Ant, pushing your own player into him.
Yeah,
and he got the call that time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Domino strategy on defense.
Let's have another look.
Don't even think Dirk got pushed.
No.
It does look like Williams fouled him, but there you go. Timeout is called. It's a 5-point Plymouth lead. We've got under 5 minutes to play. As these two teams looking to take a step towards the playoff final. Of course, we know we've already got London against Newcastle in the final on Sunday in the WBBL. And it's not beyond the realms of possibility. It could be 2 games, 2 clubs, 2 titles up for grabs for both of them.
Yeah, talk about a turnaround for the London Lions program. You know, great to see it. Great to see the capital team getting there on both sides. I think they've recruited really well as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kennedy Leonard is a fantastic player, but they've got tremendous depth in that women's team. But they'll have to ruin the Cinderella story of the Newcastle Eagles coming from the 7th seed, played tremendously well to get to that playoff final. They'll have a lot of belief going into that. But on the men's side of the ball, there's still a lot of basketball to be played in these semi-finals. It's just the first of 2 legs. And London finding themselves 5 points behind Plymouth. Kevin Ware looking to chip into that.
I think Plymouth have to stay true to what's got them here as well. I think the last 2 offenses Plymouth have had, they've tried to get the mismatch down low to Will Neighbour, who's not really a natural post-up player. Yes, he has the size difference down there, but it's resulted in turnovers and missed shots, etc. They need to keep going with the guys that have got them in this position. Your Hamiltons, your McGills, and Marcel as well, in order to keep the points ticking over.
Oh, he missed them both, Kevin Ware. Here's McGill driving through, dumps it off to Hamilton for 2.
What a pass. To make that pass in that traffic and have the presence of mind to flip it there. Unreal court vision.
Dangakodo getting all the way to the basket.
So difficult, Dangakodo. Such a tough move to dribble hard right as well, and then to step across the defender and finish.
Dusha bringing it forward. Dusha. Oh, stolen away by Ware. Liggins to Dangakodo. Ware, cross court to Williams. They flushed him off the line well, but they've lost Dangakodo. Off the mark, but an offensive rebound this time for the Lions. Stepped out of court. Let's watch his back foot there. Dusha bringing it forward. His team lead by 5. They've led for most of this game. Dusha breaking away, getting all the way to the basket. LVC Dusha!
What a move from LVC Dusha. He saw the space there just open up for him, but knew that there was going to be resistance, knew there was going to be contest. Tough finish.
Well, he almost ended up out on Charter Street there, the way he was going. And he doesn't get the roll on the and one, but he's put his team up 7. 3.5 to play here in the first leg. Liggins. Liggins trying to create, misses the 3. There's Ward Hibbert again. Stumbling though, his legs kind of went from underneath him. Oh, Ward Hibbert was wide open, they didn't find him. Liggins for 3. And the push called against on Morcell. Oh, is there a technical there as well? There's a technical foul on Vince. Well, why was he arguing that when they got the call?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen that scenario before, where the team that gets the foul call, especially on a 3-point play.
Well, McGill makes the technical free throw. But now it'll be Lyons shooting 3 for the foul. Well, that was very strange because the call was made, it went in his favour, and Vince still managed to get a technical out of it.
I'm not sure even if it was a foul on the 3-point shot. It wasn't a clear foul to me on the replay.
I didn't want to say anything, but it looked like he didn't even really brush him.
Let's have another quick look at it. Might have been a little hand on the hip. Might have been.
It's where you land in your cylinder as well, right? And it looked like he was brushed. He was inside his cylinder. So it's a tough call.
But you could understand if Paul had got a technical in that.
Yes. Well, that 3-point, play there. You get 1 point, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
Ricky McGill hits a 1-3 throw. You miss one. 1 point gain, really.
Yeah, it doesn't really hurt you too badly. Ward Hibbert called for the hold. Look at that. They were certainly fighting for position, those two. Fourth personal foul on Josh Ward Hibbert. I think about Robinson picked up his 4th. We haven't seen him since. To be fair, Dangakoda's been really good when he's come into the game, so it'd be tough to take him out. Ward Hibbert with another rebound.
Very good rebound.
Liggins, by the way, on those free throws, has clocked up his triple-double. Here's Kevin Ware for 3.
It's a good look for Kevin Ware as well. He had a lot of time to step into that one.
The interesting thing about Liggins' triple-double is he is shooting 9% from the floor. A triple-double, but he's not even in double figures for field goal percentage. It's madness, really. Here is Justin Robinson. It's Kevin Ware who makes way. And Vince is going to call a timeout here. 2:18 to go. His team trailing by 7 here in the first leg of the playoff semi-final.
I'm surprised Vince didn't look to do that a little bit sooner with Robinson for Ware. I mean, Ware has not really had one of his most electrifying games. He's 1 for 5. He doesn't really look to be in the mood for it today as well. And you'd want to keep Jules Dangakoda on court, of course, but you could share that point guard responsibility along with Justin Robinson. I mean, I guess we'll see how it plays out now in the remaining 2 minutes, but there's not a lot of this basketball game left.
Yeah, and Justin Robinson was a guy who was kind of keeping them in the game in the first half. Like, I think was the only guy in double figures. So very surprised to see him sitting so much down the stretch.
Well, only Dangakoda has gone past him. He's the second highest scorer on his team with 12. And well, important 2 minutes 18 here. This for Plymouth. They're up by 7. 7 is a big lead to take into the second half of a two-legged game, and we saw in the quarterfinals sometimes those things can just slip away. Even Leicester in the game earlier, where they went in with a big lead at the start of the fourth, and it can just drift away, and how the momentum can shift. I'm thinking particularly the London game, where Cheshire were up 1 with 2 minutes or 3 minutes to go and ended up losing by 7.
No, for sure. But I think if Plymouth Raiders can somehow keep a healthy lead here and get out of this game, being up, I can't help but feel to do them the world of good in terms of the confidence. Not that they struggle in that area, but I think that just the genuine belief that they're not just here to compete, they're here to advance.
Got to shoot with the shot clock ticking down. Yeah, not sure the Raiders are a team short on confidence, to be fair, but Liggins driving to the basket, and he finger rolls it in.
And that's the difference between him and a lot of other players. He's got that agility there to avoid the offensive rebound or colliding with the defender and gracefully finish the ball.
His first 2-point make of the game. Foul is called.
Smart play from the Plymouth Raiders. Get the ball in the hands of the guys that that are going to make something happen, and Ricky McGill is certainly a #1 candidate in that area.
21.6 rebounds, 7 assists for him. The other thing about McGill is he basically plays 40 minutes every game now, and he doesn't seem to wear down at all.
He's a rookie, isn't he?
Well, I guess. It's Dangakoto for 3 off the mark. Rebound Morcell. Bit of clock management maybe here for the Raiders as well. Dusha down to Hamilton. Hamilton deflected away. Oh, Ward Hibbert tried to kick it forward, but it's stolen by McGill, and it's an easy jam for Mike Morcell. The lead is 9.
Wow, it should have been a points converted down the other end for the London Lions, but instead the Plymouth Raiders recapture the ball and convert.
Unsportsmanlike foul is the call on Mike Morcell. Just too aggressive with the grab.
Oh, they're tough. I get it. I mean, that's what has been called the whole year. I don't like it, and I think again, if there's no malice in it or bodily harm, then it shouldn't be an unsportsmanlike. But that has been consistent with what's been called this year.
Well, it's the original signal by the most experienced, one of the most experienced referees in the league, referees at European level, and do a lot of European games. That's an unsportsmanlike foul anywhere in the world. Well, anywhere in Europe for sure. And it's one of those, as you say, with 1:04 to go, when you're up 9. What he's trying to do is make sure he doesn't turn it into an and one. But because he's grabbed hold of him like that, it could be a worse outcome.
Yeah.
Well, Plymouth here, an important 104. Because if London come out of this play with 5 points and suddenly, it's a 4-point game and then it ends up a basket either way, Plymouth will feel like they left a few points out there. To be so close with a 9-point lead, psychologically, it gives you so much. I know it sounds stupid because at various points in games you get up 5 or 6 or whatever, but actually not many teams come back in two-legged basketball from a deficit of 8, 9, 10 points. Especially Paul James will know it with 1,000 games behind him.
Yeah, he's coached this game very well as well, may I add. His team have had a plan and they've executed it so far. frustrated this London Lions team pretty much the whole game.
Liggins needs a bit of iron to get that one over the front. 8 of his 13 points have come from this distance. 2 of 12 from the floor. For his triple-double.
London Lions bench now
Yeah,
in contention with the loudest
yeah.
bench in the league. It's good to see.
Well, big play this for Lions. Trailing by 7, need a score here. Liggins is thinking about the 3, puts it on the floor instead, kicks it out to Dangakodo. Back to Liggins, 5 on the shot clock, deep 3 off the mark. Beastie doing well to keep Ward Hibbert away from that.
Good defensive stand there for the Plymouth Raiders.
It should be enough to win them the game. The question is by how many. Morcell spinning baseline, getting to the basket. Hamilton there, cleans it up. Offensive rebounds all game have been huge for Plymouth, and that's probably the biggest one of them.
They really have. They've plagued this London Lions defense. And Ashley Hamilton there again with a follow-up, strong finish.
Well, I thought there was a timeout there and everybody walked off, but in fact it was a substitution. 37 seconds left. London must score here. There is going to be a timeout. 37 seconds left. London must score. If possible, they could do with scoring within sort of 6 or 7 seconds to give them 2 possessions, because Plymouth are going to run 24 seconds whenever they get the ball.
Yep.
If they can get it back, or give Plymouth the ball back with 30 seconds to go, it gives London 1 more possession, versus if it takes them 12 or 13 seconds, Plymouth will just run the timeout.
So you would think that Vince would inbound half court here and just trying to get a...
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would advance the ball,
seconds.
yeah. Advance the ball because you want to make sure that you get 2 possessions and they get 1, and for a bit of luck you make both of those shots and they miss theirs and you go out of here with a 4 or 5 point deficit rather than a 9 or 10 or 11 point deficit. Well, whatever happens, their run is coming to an end. It's a club record 14 consecutive wins. It's going to end here today. The Plymouth Raiders are going to beat them for the 2nd time this season. The question is, what is the margin going to be?
This Plymouth Raiders team just keep defying logic and keep challenging critics that say they can't do it. It's quite remarkable how they're able to withstand the doubters and just continue to win basketball games.
They haven't advanced the ball. There's Robinson running around. And they've not really gone quick either, so they're not going for the 2 for 1. Liggins towed the line, that's only worth 2. And 23.1, Paul James calls a timeout. So he's going to draw up a play. They will not advance the ball here, I can guarantee you that. They will try and run 23.0 seconds and then score to make sure that London do not get the possession back. 7 is the worst case scenario for Plymouth here. Don't turn the ball over, don't shoot too early. 7 is a lot.
Do you even sacrifice as well getting a good shot here just to ensure that you don't shoot the ball, I don't know, with 6 seconds left on the clock? Or Liggins.
If you watch Liggins' feet, he steps underneath and he just gets that front foot onto the line. That's why it's only worth 2. And Hamilton gets beat there, but he gets beat saving his team a point.
Sure.
Because if Liggins makes the 3, and these are the things, these are the small margins in aggregate basketball that on Thursday night might matter.
Yep. And that is a play like that would have mattered in the Newcastle versus Sheffield Sharks fixture.
Yep.
That is that over the margin. You think as well the room for error is larger because it's 80 minutes, but it just exemplifies the importance of every play, doesn't it? When you combine the 2 scores. And
well, London can be aggressive here and can probably gamble, because I think Plymouth will turn down an open layup. inside 10 seconds because they'll want to take the clock. They'll not want to give London the ball back. And they are aggressive. Oh, the foul. That's not what they wanted, really. Well, I suppose the upside would be you get the ball back. The downside is you might be down 9 if McGill makes both of these. McGill is an 80% free throw shooter, so you would expect him to make both. He has missed a couple today. Well, one stop away from 9 points here, potentially, Plymouth. 9 is a lot. McGill makes them both, and Vince will call a timeout.
25 points personal for Ricky McGill. Extends this lead to 9 points.
Well, this will be the last timeout of the game. Both teams have used all 3. And here's the question. One assumes Vince... Does Vince advance the ball here? No, I wouldn't. I'd keep it because I'd want to just get one score to nothing, but they did something I wouldn't have done in the last play, so I'm not sure I'm a good judge of it all. But what would you do here? If you're London, you're down 9, do you dribble it out? And
I do, yeah. I dribble it out, and I don't necessarily need a 3 as well. I'd much rather be down here, 7 than 9. I just think psychologically 7 is just so much more, I don't know, attainable going into game 2. They've got to get a score down, regardless. I think you put too much onus on the 3-point line. Then again, this is a London Lions team. Let's not kid ourselves. This is the London Lions team that shoot the ball from the 3-point line very well in typical, typical ordinary circumstances, and they just haven't shot it that well today.
8 of 32. 9 points is what Plymouth have now. Can they get a stop to keep it? Here comes Robinson looking for that final score for London. Liggins has it. Robinson, step back 3, misses everything. McGill with the rebound. Go! You need 2 more points here. Ricky McGill running. Ricky McGill for 3. Ricky McGill on the buzzer! The perfect ending for the Plymouth Raiders. They will win this by 12.
Wow. That is exactly how you'd want to finish the game. And Ricky McGill getting 5 late points to extend this lead.
Well, he hesitated for a second. It was like in a normal game, we don't go here. But he went, and from just inside his own half, Ricky McGill on the buzzer has tipped it up to 12. And I said 7 was a lot. 12 is an awful lot. There's only been a couple of times in 2-leg history where teams have come back from more than 12 down. A tremendous performance from the Plymouth Raiders from start to tip, but the last couple of minutes, that could easily have finished up 4 or 5. They pushed it to 12.
And I thought Paul James did a remarkable job there of closing out that game. The team themselves, they managed it well, they executed well, and wow, Ricky McGill. It's just instant offense with him. He just finds a way to create and convert. Remarkable finish, remarkable.
It certainly is. And they've got themselves a really big lead to take in to the second leg. And they will now be favourites thanks to the way they finished that. Let's have a look at the numbers, and the one that leaps off the page, 8 of 33, 24%. That is the thing that we don't normally expect with London.
No, not at all. They lead the league in 3-point percentage, and that's 39% typically, Dan, so they were quite a way off the mark. And I think what that does is, well, it just takes away from everything else. When you're not hitting threes, everything else is so much more difficult. Yeah, your post-ups, you're driving to the basket, and huge credit. I cannot, praise enough the Plymouth Raiders defense, who have got this London Lions team outside of their typical, production.
Well, let's get some reaction courtside with Mike Tuck.
On courtside with man of the match, Ashley Hamilton. First off, Ashley, talk to me about that shot and how the game just ended there.
I mean, if you've been paying attention, Ricky McGill has probably been one of the best players in the league. Second half of the season, I mean, it took him a couple of games to get going, and that's just what he does. So when he put that up, it was a big reaction because we've seen him do that kind of stuff before, and it was magical. It was just a good touch to finish the game.
Magical shot, and that he gave you a run for the money for man of the match with 28 points, but you finished off with 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Talk about your performance tonight.
I mean, we push each other, man. Like, when he has a good game, like, he pushes me to play better. I push him to play better. Like, we're very hard on each other, work out together. That's my guy, man. He's been doing fantastic. He, you know, every time he has a win, every time he's man in the match, whatever, I'm very happy for him. It's the same way for me. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier about the situation.
And you guys have a 12-point lead going into this second leg. How much confidence does that give you guys?
I mean, it is what it is, man. If we was down 12, you know, it's always a second game. Like, this game's over now. I mean, London's not going to take that lane down. Same way we wouldn't. So we're focused for the next game. Obviously, we have a little bit of an advantage. But if we, you know, come out and squander that the same way we did in the trophy final, you know, it's for nothing. So we have to be focused, be ready for Thursday, because that's a good team.
Congrats, Ash. See you on Thursday.
Thank you, Mike.
Diplomatic, pragmatic, Kieran, because 12 points looks decent, but this is the Lions they're up against, and there is a long way to go, but at the moment, advantage Plymouth, and so much of it was down to our MVP.
Definitely. I mean, Ashley was outstanding tonight, and you know what, watching him play, he took playing defence personally as well. You know, in my opinion, he was snubbed for the all-defensive team in the BBL. He should definitely be on the mix there, and I think he proved that tonight. He can play at both ends of the court.
Called that out at one point, didn't he? Made that point to the sidelines. 23 points for him, 11 rebounds, 7 of those defensively. But I want to concentrate on the Raiders' offense for a minute, because you said at the top of the show, this Lions defense in the last month conceding an average of 76 points. Plymouth, a team we talk about their defense, puts up 92 points against them.
Well, I was so surprised because, you know, obviously I thought London were going to take this game, and if Plymouth had any chance of doing that, they had to keep London in the 60s or 70s. They put 92 points up today, and you know, big credit to like Dusha, Beastie. They stepped up. They were the extra scorers. You know, you had Marcel there, you had Ricky McGill, Hamilton, putting the points up, but Dusha doing his job, getting the extra points, and Beastie really stepping up as well, defensively as well. I just think they were a credit to watch. Yeah, a contribution across the board. Morcel stepping up as well. All of those performances will have certainly put a smile on the face of their head coach, and PJ is courtside now with Mike.
PJ, massive first game here. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, we spoke over the last 3 days and saying if we had a chance of making the final, we had to win this first game. We had to play a perfect game defensively. We had to change some things up there. And the difference makers wasn't going to be really the Ricky McGills, the Ashley Hamiltons. It's going to be Elvisi Dusha, Will Neighbour, you know, Ryan Beastie, and those guys. If they could chip in with some points, it was going to make a massive difference for us. And tonight, everybody came to play, and it was just a fantastic game.
And a big difference with 12 points heading into the second leg. How much does that 12 points give you confidence?
Well, it gives us confidence. Clearly, you know, we can beat them in a one-off game. We've got to go and do it all again on Thursday. And we're not delusional. We know London are a very good team. They're very explosive, and you know, we've got to go and do it all again on Thursday. It's going to be tough, but we have that lead. But it's a game we're going to go out there and try and win as well.
Congratulations, Coach. See you on Thursday.
Thank you.
A lot of big performances across the board. Let's talk Ricky McGill. 28 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals as well, which were all individually instrumental. And how important will that 3 at the end up being in this tie?
You know, I'm looking at that. I was thinking if they got the 10-point lead, you know, it was in favour of Plymouth, in my opinion. That's how going into the second game. Now they've got a 12-point lead. That was a big shot, big momentum swinger as well. But he's just such a great scorer. You know, like, he changes speed, you know, puts his head down, but he's controlled as well. You know, gets his jump shot off. You know, he drives to the basket, dishes off, making threes. I just think he's one of those players right now that he is. You just don't know how to stop him. You just don't know how to stop him.
And as Ash was saying to Mike, if you've been paying attention, he is one of the best guards in the league right now. There is that 3-pointer as well. And that was crucial because at that stage, the Lions were looking at trying to eradicate the difference to 7 points. It suddenly becomes a 12-point game in the blink of an eye.
what a shift in momentum. And, 12 points, that's hard to come by, But if there's a team that could do it, it is London Lions. They can put up points very quickly. So Plymouth I'm sure, are not getting ahead of themselves.
It's very hard to come back from that. Only twice in the history of the BBL in 2-leg tournaments, competitions, has a team come back from a 12-point deficit after the first leg. That is the task in front of the London Lions. But if they're going to do it, DeAndre Liggins will be front and centre again. He had a curious night in many ways, a triple-double. So really significant. Look at his efficiency rating as well, was superb. But yet, you wouldn't really look at this necessarily as a vintage Liggins performance, would you?
Yeah, watching the game tonight, I thought he was quite quiet. And then I look at the stat sheet, and he's got 8 assists at the point, and 8 rebounds, whatever it may be. He came alive in the last quarter, right? And that, you can see that he can play a lot better. Dirk Williams exactly the same. He held to 6 points tonight. That's not London.
If he's landing a triple-double, he can play a lot better. The rest of the BBL, the Plymouth Raiders, should be worried. Well then, advantage Raiders in this one, and we are back for more. Thursday night, the second leg of both playoff semi-finals coming your way. On air once again, 4:30. Tip-off in the first game is at 5 o'clock, and don't forget, of course, the finals of both the BBL and the WBBL playoffs live on Sky Sports on Sunday. Looking forward to it. What a fantastic night of basketball we've had, Kieran. Both games living up to the hype. We'll see you Thursday night.